Command Point is running a Kill Team Grand Tournament July 12th and 13th at Millennium Games in Rochester, New York. This will be a 32-player, 5-round Kill Team event. You can find out more information and buy tickets at the link below. Command Point is sponsored by Crossfire Games. Use code CommandPoint25 at checkout to get 5% off your next purchase. Link in the description.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Command Point. This is episode 70, I want to say 72 of the Command Point podcast. Might be 71. We'll find out. And I'm your host, Shane, and I am joined today by the champion of the Edmonton Open, golden ticket winner with an almost perfect, flawless run with Corsairs, Vivek. Vivek, how's it going?
Going good. It's going good, Shane. Hey, everybody. Nice to talk to you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you on. I mean, you're coming off a pretty nice weekend over in Edmonton.
Oh yeah, it was real solid. And I didn't know going into it, but I do get a plane ticket with that golden ticket, which is fantastic.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Yeah, because it was not a U.S. Open, but it's in the Open series.
I didn't realize that all GW Opens came with that, which is great. The nice bonus on top means I probably made a slight profit on the trip. All things considered, yeah.
Hey, I'm in the same boat with Adepticon with the flight. It's a nice life. I know we're an exclusive club. I don't envy all the people that are, especially from overseas, having to pay for their flight to go to Worlds is not fun. Yeah.
I mean, even on my end, coming from Canada, it is like a $700 flight, so it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad for me if I had to pay for it. I'm kind of like spoiled a little bit with, even if it's only like a few $100 if I get it ahead of time.
Oh yeah, domestic is great.
Yeah.
What was weird? Ethan came with us to Edmonton. It was cheaper for him to drive to Canada and fly to Toronto.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's wild to even think about, but it makes sense. But anyway, yeah. So you took Corsairs, and you went 7-0. And 6 of your 7 wins, you scored 21 points. And then the other game, you scored, I believe it was 19?
Yeah.
So that is quite an accomplishment. I mean, we can get into the weeds on a lot of stuff later, but I mean, how did it feel to, like, were you just like in a rhythm, or like was there a moment where it was like...
I was very much in a rhythm. I went in with a game plan to play a game of controlled aggression revolving around confirm kill for every game, unless I happened to play either Felgor or Goremongers, and I would consider implant. And I just executed that plan from game to game. My opponents, 7 out of 7 great guys, but it very much was like I went in and played like, okay, I'm going to take confirm kill so I don't have to use APL planting beacons, and even if I sloppily score 4 confirm kill, I'm still busy playing the crit and kill op, so it should all be good, kind of thing. Whereas with beacons, I very much felt when I'm playing, particularly with Corsairs with beacons, you're kind of hanging your ass out in a bunch of places you don't really want to be. You're just there to plant a beacon. With a confirmed kill, you can just be up in your opponent's face doing damage and then double dipping and scoring with your tack op. And triple dipping into leaving tokens all over the field for you to use your Corsair's balanced reroll.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because that was going to be one of my first questions was tac ops, because I mean, I will say I do a pretty good job in my tournament games of getting the wins, but I don't max score that often. And
we're currently playing a team that isn't really built to max score because they're not super fast. With Corsairs, everybody being able to move 10. Being able to hunt down that 6th kill op point, you got to go get the guy who's in the back corner standing on the Volcus Vantage. It's a lot harder for Hyrotech to get there to kill that guy than it is for Corsairs, whereas once a bunch of casualties are on the field and I've got a spare operative or 2, in TP3 I can just move them 10 inches in the right direction to threaten who I think will be the last guy on the field, kind of thing.
And 2, I mean, like, you have such long threat ranges that I can imagine you're probably scaring the other player off of the middle objective, like, to some degree.
Yes, setting foot on the middle objective is generally speaking suicide for my opponents. So I've got my list of opponents here. So I played every match I either had activation parity or better, except my first match into Kazarkin. So I always had that last say thing where I'd hold back either the Starstorm or the Blaster. Like, if you do want to come touch the middle point, whoever does is not going to live to see the next turning point, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Which definitely gave me a wide berth to then stage on other parts of the map, as my enemy sort of funneled into trying to play safe away from all of the threats I stage generally closer to the middle.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with the new edition, I think it's like the benefits of out activating your opponent, or at least not being out activated, has kind of been like, I don't want to say it's like a forgotten thing, but it's such a big deal. And I mean, you played a lot of Vetguard last edition, and so you were used to playing with the activation advantage.
Yeah, it's always like, okay, I out-active you by 4. That means I can have 4 of my powerful gunners sitting around waiting for you to come up and make moves, trade into my less valuable guys, allow me to then up-trade, and then if I win initiative, potentially turn that up-trade into a 2-for-1 when I win initiative and then kill another guy kind of thing. I hate being out-activated. It's probably my least favorite thing in the game, because it very much into a good opponent who knows how to use those last couple activations they out-activate you, it becomes a nightmare.
Yeah, no, it's very tough. I mean, back in the day when I played elites for like a straight year, after that year was over, I was like, all right, I'm going to not play elites anymore. And I started playing like mid-range teams and the occasional horde. And it was just like, phew, like, oh my goodness, it is so much less stressful to play the game.
Night and day difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I want to round back to Confirm Kill, because very good timing for you to talk about this, because I've been kind of like thinking about this a lot lately, where I'm starting to. I've always liked Confirm Kill more than Plant Beacons on from like my personal standpoint, and obviously a lot of it is matchup dependent and the team you're playing dependent. But I've really been kind of coming around more to the idea that I think it, in a lot of ways, for a lot of teams, I feel like Confirm Kill is just better than Plant Beacons, which is kind of a hot take, because beacons are like, everybody loves beacons.
Beacons are a nice warm safety blanket. Like, I'll take beacons. I can score some points. You know, I just got to go stand in places, spend my APL, plant that beacon. So I see why more players gravitate towards it. It's also something your opponent can't particularly deny. The only real way they can deny it is by threatening the areas you would go to plant a beacon.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's like, yeah, they don't get to interact with it. You plant the beacon, you get the point. Whereas Confirm Kill, it leaves that window open for, okay, you drop all these tokens, then your opponent can come up and try and deny them. But them coming up trying to deny them, a guy died in that spot.
Yes.
If you're playing a fast team, generally speaking, if you put a guy up there to contest the marker, another guy is fast enough to get there and kill the guy you brought up to contest. And now I just get multiple markers hanging out in the same spot.
Yeah, thank you. I've been saying this forever, because a lot of the counterpoints to Confirm Kill is like, oh, well, they could just run up and contest the point. I'm like, but they're running into a spot where I've already established that I can go kill something there. So there's typically danger involved. And of course, you know, with Plant Beacons, there's, you know, you can't understate that it's basically 6 activations worth of input to max that.
You're taxed 6 APL and all the positioning requirements.
Yeah.
Which, compared to Confirm Kill, even if you play a sloppy Confirm Kill and get, let's call it 3 points, you got those 3 points scooping up 3 markers, but in the process, you were also probably playing multiple objectives, you were killing people to boost your kill op. So there's that give and take, where even if your opponent is doing their all to try and deny you the Confirm Kill tack op points, you're still busy playing the mission and clearing people off objectives and scoring other points elsewhere. And they're putting people up in dangerous spots to try and deny you points, which could backfire and just feed you more points.
Yeah, and not to mention, that's them going up and doing that to deny the point. They're like doing their own little like side thing that's not really related to like the game outside of TAC Ops.
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
They're doing that, and they're also trying to do their TAC Op, which if they're not doing that like a Confirm Kill, then they're probably investing resources there. So I feel like playing Confirm Kill lets you play the game a little bit more.
Exactly. I'd say the only time it's really risky is when you are significantly out activated. So say I'm playing Corsairs at 9, someone brings that guard at, call it 12 activations. those 3 extra activations and throwaway guys is enough where my opponent will happily move dash a guy up to contest the 2 confirmed kills I'm about to pick up. And they're like, it's fine if this guy dies. I'm going to hard deny you 2 points here because I have last activation. And I'm just going to yeet him up to do that. That's probably the only time I'd be like, okay, maybe you should take beacons or look at a different tack op because it becomes easy for them to deny and costs them very little. If you're just throwing away normal trooper to deny your opponent 2 victory points, you're laughing. You're happy about that.
and also, I think it's pretty rough too into like the 8 model teams, like Goremongers, like you mentioned earlier. Blades of Cain is another tough one because at that point it starts to get kind of inefficient.
You basically have to table them to score your 6.
Exactly, yeah. So in those situations, I don't mind like beacons, but I mean, you mentioned you were thinking about implant. So did that ever come up?
No. So implant was there basically for Felgor because it's a free 6. If you play it right, particularly with Corsairs, you have the one sorcerer with a silent stun gun, where you roll 1 crit, or you roll a hit. It's got severe. It becomes a crit and stuns a guy. If you stun somebody, who's frenzied, that's great. Cool. You get your implant, and they can't do anything, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, because you get the retain and then you don't do the damage. That's pretty nice. Okay, but so it does sound like in all 7 games you went confirm kill.
Yeah. In this tournament, I went confirm kill everyone. I did have some 8-man team opponents. So in order, I faced Kazarkin, Plague Marines, Jaegers, Void Dancers, Plague Marines, Nemclaw, and Hierotek.
Okay.
Taking it into Jaegers, I was debating beacons there because it can be a little cagey. But I opted to just take confirm kill and full send it. Void Dancer was probably the most dangerous one to take confirm kill, but I know the heart of most Void Dancer players, and I know how they want to stage up and how they want to play. I'm like, he's gonna be up enough where we should be able to brawl, and I should be able to pull off my floor of getting 4 of them.
Yeah.
I played it quite well, got the 6 on that one, but everything else super comfortable taking confirm kill. Into any elite, it's kind of a gimme. Into Hierotek, because they double drop, they're just going to end up with way more tokens than you think. Like, it's an 8-man team, but every dude can drop 2 tokens, so it starts to feel way more doable. Particularly when you incapacitate somebody, you drop the token there, they come back, you kill the comeback guy. They're usually somewhere around the token when they died, and then there's your 2. There's your 2 to pick up.
Yeah, the Cryptek is worth 2 as well on his own, so... Yeah, I've been telling people for a while that I think confirm kill it's pretty good into Hierotek. Like, you think Hierotek, very hard to kill. You never get kill op against them, but weirdly enough, that tack op is it does some work.
They might revive and deny you some of the kill op points, but they're still going to die twice and drop those confirmed kill tokens. So they're there for you.
So yeah, I mean, you definitely played a few elites as well from the sound of it. I mean, Corsair's pretty good into elites, yeah.
Yeah, those were the hard one's Nemesis Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Plague Marines, it's tough with the damage reduction, but the Starstorm Duelist throws enough dice, 4 at piercing 2, or in a shuriken, that even with, if they pop that 1 CP for damage reduction, as long as you're doing the things with your rerolls, or you're ready to reach for your CP to reroll, particularly the fusion pistol, you'll probably get there. He probably one-taps a guy outright, which he did do in both my Plague Marine games. Both of them, I took the leader out first. And it was pretty straightforward. I got my ammo cache tap reroll, and then I had all my CP to reroll just in case. Both times I used at least 1 CP. I believe in the first game I used all 3. I rolled all misses on the fusion pistol. Ammo cache reroll, 3 CP, got into all hits. Which I think is a good, particularly into elites. If you have an opportunity to kill one, just spend your resources on it. If you can clap one quickly, it just puts your opponent so far on the back foot that lack of CP really isn't going to harm you later in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tempo swing, I think, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I guess outside of the the tac ops and everything and the matchups, what about Corsairs, I guess, going into the event was like, why did you go with Corsairs? Like, what? I know they just got nerfed. Some people are a little down on them, but where do you stand?
totally fair and nerfed nothing about the team. The only nerf that was weird was nerfing the Shade Runner's ability to dash in turns of teleports. I assume they're just gonna remove the Galadark teleport, because that
Me
was
too.
honestly the worst part about it, and then just leave it and it'd be totally fine. Removing of the dash does make him a bit more of a technical piece. You have to pay way more attention to his staging. It's no longer just cool. I yeet 10 inches in any direction I want. It made him a little harder to use. The Just a Scratch nerf was totally fair. It being a full Just a Scratch for crits and normals was too strong. It made the math on a lot of stuff a little too fucky, particularly if you're getting hit in melee and you're blocking like full 6 damage from a power sword kind of thing. It made the math a little too much. I understand why they did it. Those are all completely fair nerfs. Main reason to Corsair is we can shout out David Seafried right now. I played one game against him where I did the Shade Runner reposition scout through the wall on ITD to then stage up and do the swap with the wizard into the Starstorm duelist. I love that. I fell in love with that idea immediately, and the fact that the free dash means everybody's moving 10. It's a fast team that has a lot of technical play, and it feels like you only pay for lethality, paying for no tankiness. You're 8 wounds, 4 up save, not really paying for any kind of defensive profiles. You're paying for the power weapons on almost all the guys, multiple piercing 2 weapons, with piercing 1 weapon, and you also have a little bit of AoE with the devastating 2-inch. The silent stun gun is amazing. The 9-inch comms and healing is very cute. Like, it's just a very fun set of tools that go very fast in a mid-range package. I enjoyed all of it.
Nice.
Everything about the team, playing that one game with Dave, and I was just sold immediately. Like, all right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna send it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, would you say that were you kind of playing off the cuff for a lot of your games, or was there like a certain strategy that you were running a lot of the time that you were like that was guiding you, I guess, in a lot of your games?
So every game, my initial strategy always revolved around where's my ammo cache going and where am I going to threaten the Alpha Strike. So I did that all 7 games. Ammo cache down, pre-measure everywhere you're going. All right, we're going to do reposition scout into a dash. I want to figure out where can I safely go and get far enough up the board that the teleport swap is a meaningful amount of distance. On some maps, it's hard because there's just not enough cover, and I don't want to take a cover-based equipment piece just to use for the Alpha Strike. But if you get the 5-6 inch extra movement, that 10-inch move dash is going to take you where you need to in the mid-board, and occasionally on some of the maps you get really good staging. You can reach almost into your opponent's deployment zone and whatnot. So every game started out with, all right, roll for board side. Board side is decided. Okay, where's my ammo cache going? Where am I staging up for the Alpha Strike? I know what pieces go in that sort of Alpha Strike combo. If it's on ITD, your fights first, Birdman, Wizard, Starstorm Duelist, and Shade Runner make up kind of the core of that Alpha Strike. The fights first Bird Person is there basically to open doors people are guarding at. Because if you're a Space Marine guarding a door, I'm not going to go open it with my Duelist, because he will the Starstorm Duelist, because he'll just die. But I will happily go trade the Bird Person in to do 6 damage, because I'm going to strike first. I'm probably going to get that crit, and then sometimes you're going to do 10, get a crit and a hit before they kill you kind of thing. And then the Starstorm Duelist can follow up, and if you happen to stage 2 people at that door, neat. I get to now shoot the Fusion Pistol into the full health guy, and then shoot the Shuriken into the dude who just took 10 damage from the Power Sword. That's on ITD. And Open, it's way more flexible. It's just 2 pieces. Starstorm Duelist, the Swap Wizard, and the Ammo Cache. It's just those pieces you need to do it on Open, which made it very flexible. Generally speaking, I would hedge towards the middle, but I'd basically always try and give my opponent board side so that they're done deploying and I can deploy my stuff last. But I would get an idea of, like, all right, where are their safe spots, where are they going to deploy, where are they going to go threaten the objectives, and just place my ammo cache in a general area where I could reach at least 2 of those spots. I thought they would come stage up, and we'd play around that. Then in the flanks, it's depending on which team I'm playing against, we array different operatives in different spaces. Big thing is my blaster, the other piercing 2 gun, is always in an intermediate staging area compared to the Starstorm Duelist. and he can stage up there because I know I'm sending the Starstorm up the board, and if I lose initiative, he can only kill one of them, and he's got to go pick his poison. If he doesn't kill the duelist, it's devastating, so generally speaking, they have to go for him. If they opt to, like for Nemesis Claw, for example, he spent 6 CP on Vox Screams. He Vox Screamed all 3 turning points, 2, 3, 4, just to try and stay alive, because I always had an existential threat staged up somewhere. And he had to delay and try and remove them, or otherwise he'd just end up losing more tempo and more momentum. But yeah, every game went in with a solid game plan revolving around, I am always going to threaten the Alpha Strike. I'm always going to take reposition scouting to help threaten that Alpha Strike. And then we go from there, kind of thing. We see where the game evolves. Because even from your staging positions, there are very few teams that can reach, like, when you double dash and you're 5 to 6 inches out of your deployment. There's very few teams that can actually come and just, like, oh, you've done this, I'm going to reach out and touch that guy now. Even the fast teams, it's a lot of extra distance to cover. So it felt very solid, very safe to do. Yeah, and then I just took it from game to game, did the same thing, threaten the Alpha Strike. If they give it to me, neat, I get the value. If they don't, then I'm staged up and ready to go TP2. I've got Strat Phase Dash in my pocket to, if I lose initiative and my Starstorm is threatened, I just pull him back to 3 inches and he's no longer threatened. So it was a dance around the idea of that Alpha Strike and then playing the flanks. And once you have a material advantage as Corsairs, then you just foot to the gas. You go all the way to the floor and you just play an extremely high pressure game once you have that advantage, and just try and pick up as many pieces as possible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And honestly, this edition, I think that the even because I don't necessarily want to call it alpha striking all the time, but these teams that have the capacity to play the game aggressively on turn 1, I think have kind of an advantage in a lot of situations, because so many teams they either can't or they won't play the game on turn 1. And a lot of the teams that can, even then, the player will opt not to. They'll just go for like a passive turn 1. And so it's kind of like you get this tempo advantage just by threatening the ability to do something on turn 1. And I found that playing Hierotech a lot with the Chronomancer, is you can just is you can hit them really hard. And if your opponent isn't aware or doesn't respect it, then you hit them and do damage, and you might go up early. And if they like do respect it, even then you're getting a benefit because they're going to stage worse, and it's a win-win. And if you don't have the ability to like play the game on turn 1, then I think you can run into hurdles there a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, particularly into elites, because the elites they don't have the activations to do that intermediate stage up when you can threaten that, and they're forced to just play the sides that you can't threaten, or otherwise just stay all the way back, which in the long run is bad for elites, because they very much, when you're being out-activated, you need to overwhelm your opponent. If you allow people to get picked off one at a time, you tend to just lose, because you just won't get the value back fast enough from the pieces you're losing, which made all the elites, they staged up just enough, they came out just enough that Starstorm could go out and touch them, which on their end, I understand, it is very hard to visualize the threat radiuses, and most of them did pre-measure, but in the cases of pre-measuring, they all pre-measured the pre-dash distance, so before the guy who gets swapped for the duelist dashes to get an extra 3 inches. Every single time they pre-measured, they forgot to take that into account, that I can just move 3 inches further up and then teleport, which was particularly the round 2 Plague Marines guy. He did all the measuring, and then he's like, okay, go. I'm like, okay, I dash up, swap, and he's like, oh no. Which, at the outset of the game, I made it like I walked them through every operative, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Make it very clear that the swap, if you reposition, fallback, or charge, then the swap target can't do those things, but it does not say dash.
Yep.
And I mentioned that in my explanations. It's like, it doesn't include dash, and everybody can dash for free.
Yeah, that is It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I honestly, it's like that's like part of playing these teams is you go to a tournament and your opponent's like, all right, tell me exactly how far you can go, and I always try to walk them through it, and like I'm kind of okay with you staying out of it because if you really want to go that far back and not come close at all, then
Yeah, it's
I'll
totally
make something
fine.
out of that.
In the games where they opted to do that, all it usually led to was like a severe loss in tempo and being able to play the objectives. Because they would just be too far back to play them, and I'll squeak out. I'll go squeak out, score my couple crit ops. I'll use the 2 interrupts you have available on the team to great effect to stage up threateningly in a manner where it's like, okay, if you do, for example, with the I think it's the Kernite Hunter. I refer to them as my own names. I remember their data sheets by memory. Can't remember any of the names. I think it's the Kernite Hunter with the bird
Yeah.
who can tag a guy in the strat phase with a 9. If they end an action in which they move, you can either reposition to get closer or charge them. When your opponent only stages up 1 shooting threat against him, you just tag him with it. Like, if you're going to come up move dash shoot me, I'm going to wait for you to finish your dash and I'm going to charge you. If you're going to retreat because you don't want the bird person to follow, I'm going to get my free reposition and stage my guy up hyper aggressively against you. And now you have to worry about, okay, cool, now I can just go charge somebody else because you let me move 5 to 7 inches closer.
Yeah, that is pretty nice. And I mean, I think too, like like we were talking earlier about the speed of the team and how fast they are. I mean,
fast, Shane.
as
They're so fast.
as evidenced by the fact that you got max scores in almost all your games. That means you didn't just score well, you tabled your opponent in those games. And I think a lot of the ability to do that is when you have a team that's super lethal like Corsairs, that's also really fast. So like,
yeah, that was the key to that. When we talk about how do we get to max score, it's because they're fast and lethal. You need the speed to go get those 21s, or you need your opponent to participate in it where, they're down to 1 operative. Like, you know what? I'm going to move this operative out aggressively, try and kill a couple guys before you get me.
yeah.
None of my opponents offered that level of participation. I had to go hunt that last guy down in every single game.
Yeah, I've had a lot of games where I get 20 and it's like there's just one dude in the corner and I'm just like, forget it. I can't go get that guy. There's just no way. But Corsairs, they have that ability.
Yeah. Reach with the Shade Runner as well, when people are hiding on Vantages and Vulcus and whatnot. He'll go get at them. It's fine.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, how about the crit ops, I guess, because you're doing quite well in crit op. That's usually, I think, the one that most people if they lose any points, it's usually crit op, and maybe
it
like
helped.
a
We
point on
played
kill.
basically all the straightforward ones. So we played transmission, coordinates, power surge, loot, intel, secure, and sabotage. They're all low APL intensity kind of crit ops.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked. Once you get the material advantage, it just becomes a lot easier to play those crit ops.
Yeah.
Like there's no extraction in here, so it was pretty. The game plan was basically kill focused, kill first, score later. The idea was with the material advantage, all the other scoring just becomes easier as your opponent is busy dealing with your threatening pieces while you're busy sending out a couple of your low overhead operatives to go score those crit op points, which is exactly what I did. We had multiple games where generally speaking, I take the regular guy on foot with the power sword and shuriken over the heavy gunner. He probably scored a solid like over 7 games, 20 something points in crit op kind of thing, just hanging around doing his thing.
Yeah.
But then also threatening with a power sword into many of these matchups. There's like, oh, you brought the Plague Marine down on 5 wounds. I'm gonna charge. I'm gonna hit you with a crit and kill you no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, power swords are good, right?
They're so good. It's honestly a little too good. That could be something they could do to nerf the team. They could take away the lethal 5-up on their power weapons.
Oh, that would be big. Do you think they need a nerf?
I mean, I kind of gotta say yes with what I did over the weekend. There's something about them that is quite strong. Although at the other end of things, I didn't play all the world-class players. There's definitely some weaknesses to the team. But as an overall package, I think they're quite strong. I don't think they need a severe nerf just because they're rotating out soon.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you could do to the team that wouldn't feel crippling at this point. One big thing, you could just cap it at 1 piercing 2 weapon. Force you to take a different gunner than the blaster could be a cute kind of quicker fix, particularly into elites. Into mid-range and other matchups, the blaster is great because it'll efficiently kill somebody, but it's not necessary to have the piercing 2 to kill dudes who have 8 wounds, 4-up saves kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe some tweaks. Honestly, it's the combination of attack up being quite good as well that lets you score higher. Where would I start with a nerf? There's a few places you could start, but I think you basically rapidly start entering nerf hammer, like what they did to inquisitorial agents, which is take them from cool team with lots of tools to basically in the bin community wide. I haven't seen someone play agents since Worlds, basically.
Yeah, they've never really been a popular team, to be fair, even when they are good. So when they're not S tier, I think people sort of abandon them. I think, what about hypothetically, because I've noticed a lot of these teams that have Alpha Strikes, they typically target the Alpha Strike. Do you think if the teleport, we talked about how it doesn't mention dashes. Do you think
you could do that. That would feel totally fair.
Yeah.
It would basically change the Alpha Strike tech slightly. Instead of going for move dash shoot, you'd want to position around charge double shoot with a Starstorm. So it's still, the Alpha Strike is still in there, but it would make it more difficult and allows your opponent a little more freedom in positioning. One of the big things with the being up the board 6, swapping, and then getting to move dash is you're not even necessarily getting within 2. You can just clear cover lines a lot of the time. But with the charge, at the very least, then you got to come in the front. Your opponent can be like, okay, I'm going to be behind this piece of cover outside of engagement range on the other side. Don't leave you the room to charge kind of thing. There's more counterplay. I think, that would probably be the fairest, most balanced thing to do, is just add dash to the list of actions that you can't do on the teleport.
Yeah.
It would just cut the distance down 3 inches, which that in and of itself helps a lot.
For sure. I do want to highlight really quick. I love that you were taking, I didn't know this. I love that you were taking ammo cache. I don't know if you know
every
this.
Game.
This is
so if you want like the
certified.
stats, 7 out of 7 confirm kill, 7 out of 7 games ammo cache, 5 out of 7 games I took the regular trooper instead of a heavy gunner. 2 games I did take the heavy gunner was Plague Marines on ITD, where it's just a great option because they only have 6 activations. Move dash guard into shooting somebody is great. And then I took it into Jaegers as well because they have the shoot into combat ploy on the charge.
Oh yeah.
So it felt like it's like, okay, I'm not going to be doing a lot of charging. He staged up brilliantly. Everything was in these perfect bubbles of either being protected by the silent sniper or protected by a gunner who was hiding in a very cute, like, obscuring corner where it's like, sure, I could attempt to shoot him, but the only way I could see him, because they're quite short, would be on vantage. And my blaster was busy on the ground doing other stuff, so it's like I could take a shot with the shuriken cannon. He probably lives with the half damage and the obscuring and everything else. So I didn't really bother, and then his rocket launcher will just pick my guy back up for free with Ceaseless afterwards.
Yeah.
So he had a very cute level of protection surrounding everything, where it's like, if I charged, I was going to lose an operative to that charge. Ceaseless piercing 1 rocket, or sniper rifle with dev wounds, he was going to get the guy, no matter what. So I focused very much on shooting in that game, and charging was only down the road cleanup, closer to the end, TP, like the latter half of TP3 and then TP4. Before that, it's all about shooting, putting that down. And ammo cache is a key part of that. If you find the correct place to put your ammo cache where it is accessible for your Alpha Strike, generally speaking, it is then accessible for anybody else you stage up. That wherever that spot is usually just a good staging point for everybody else. So what I would tend to do is, into the elite matchups, Starstorm can go out, do his thing, and then my leader can come and go sit on the ammo cache. And he's ready to go next turning point. If I lose initiative, no matter what, they got to go kill the Starstorm first, because if they opt to come for my leader first, Starstorm is threatening, cool, I'm going to go kill a Space Marine and then do half of another Space Marine's health again. And your opponent just can't let that happen. So the leader is protected by the taunt effect of the Starstorm.
Yep.
You get that free staging of a valuable piece because you have a more valuable piece further up the board. And I would revolve as much as I could around the ammo cache because rerolls are excellent.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And honestly, it's I mean, Corsairs have better rerolls than they did last edition, but it's still not like amazing. So having the cash helps for sure.
That one CP Relentless is glorious when you use it.
Yeah.
It's you can get a lot of work done, Neurodisruptor, Blaster, or Fusion Pistol. You can get a lot of work done with a Relentless piercing 1 or 2 gun.
Yeah. And you know it's nice too with the Starstorm Duelist because he's going to get the balance from the ammo cache on both shots if he's
it's so great.
Yeah.
And the number of times I used that reroll, almost 100% of the time I used both rerolls from the ammo cache on both guns.
Yep.
Every time it got value.
It's great. This is definitely this is an ammo cache loving zone here at Command Point. I can't stop
I'm with
the
it.
ammo cache. The cult of ammo cache.
It stacks with all your other rerolls. You got balanced neat, you got double balance, you got ceaseless neat, you got ceaseless plus an extra.
It's awesome, and it lasts the whole turn. So like if you counteract,
you get counteracting. It's beautiful. Everything about it is great, and I think even with teams like Goremongers, dude, an ammo cache wrist chain shot. So you've got balance because you usually have half a tank of blood, and then you also get the ammo cache is very useful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, ammo cache is great. So I did want to ask you. So obviously, I mean, you won your ticket here with Corsairs. You've been playing them for a little bit, and you're going to Worlds presumably. And so there is the looming. There's the looming threat that they might get zoinked out of the meta because of rotation. So do you? I mean, it's early days. Obviously, we have like 5 months until Worlds. But are you? Have you thought about any teams that are interesting to you that you would want to like play if that happens?
Battleclade, Goremongers, Blades of Cain are my shortlist right now, but I haven't done a proper full exploration of the other teams, which I really should. But those 3 teams really intrigue me. Goremongers because my love of speed in this game has grown drastically this edition.
Yeah, they're fast.
They are the fastest team. They could charge 10, move dash 11. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Battleclade, I just finished doing a deep read of them yesterday. They're just chock full of goofy shenanigans, and I love it. Network Counteract is probably my second favorite mechanic in the whole game outside of the wrist chains equipment from Goremongers. The fact that the dude who's sitting on your home point, tapping the point, can simply have one of your other guys shoot real quick is fantastic.
Oh, it's nice. I've been playing some games with Battleclade, and I like the team. And they kind of going back to our earlier conversation about teams that play the game on turn 1. Battleclade is one of the better ones, I think, in terms of the pressure they can put out.
Like just off the bat, your leader can threaten scouting phase reposition into strat phase reposition as long as you end up on a point, which you usually, if you're just charging up the middle, you should be able to, into move dash shoot with a 1-inch devastating 3 gun.
Yeah.
So with lethal 5-up. So into like say a horde team where they're going to be butt to butt on every piece of heavy cover that's there in their deployment because they have to, because there's just not enough cover for like 12 to 14 operatives to hide in safety. You could, if they're base to base, you could go clap 5 guys with 1 shoot action, shoot the guy in the middle, 1 inch, 25 mil bases or less than an inch. If they're all touching, you hit a guy in the middle, you can hit 5 people with it, and you pick up every CP to fish for 3 crits to kill them.
Yeah, the potential is pretty nice for turn 1 pressure. I've really started to like teams that play the game on turn 1. I mean, even when I was playing Velgor, I was doing that with the Shaman back when he had full seek, and it just feels nice, even if it's just like a little bit of damage that I can do on turn 1. It just feels
Warp
nice.
Coven, before they took away the full seek and devastating from that 1 gun, if you're into 7 or 8 wound teams, it's a serious threat because you can give yourself relentless on this shoot action and then shoot a guy, and if you just roll your 4 or 5-ups, you'll just delete a guy in TP1 for free from Silent.
Yeah, it's
with or not from Silent, with the Capricious back to conceal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting topic. I mean, you could probably do a whole, deep dive on something like that with in an edition that has somewhat abandoned playing the game on turn 1. Really, the teams that can, I think it's very interesting. It's like adds another layer.
Yeah. It makes your opponent's life a nightmare, and it costs you basically nothing, which is kind of the best trade-off there. Your opponent's got to do all of the thinking to avoid the strike,
Yeah.
And you just got to sit there and be like, "You gonna give me the strike?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty nice. And so I mean, you went to Worlds last year, also,
Yep.
and the other team you played a lot this edition, also facing rotation is Warp Coven. So obviously that's off the
Oh, they're out
table.
for me. They're
Yeah.
completely out.
Yeah.
Forget all the other nerfs. The one that got me, they took away once per turning point free mission action from the Zangors and made it once per battle. That was what cooked it for me.
Yeah.
Everything else, I was like, okay, you know what? This is all fine. They took that away. I'm like, this was a very key tool in scoring beacons
Hmm.
because you could throw a Zangor all the way up the board and plant a beacon for free. Which means you could get your opponent side beacon with a Zangor, which you like happily put the Zangor up. Please put somebody on engage for a sorcerer to shoot when you come kill the Zangor. It's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so I mean, yeah. You mentioned Goremongers. That's a team that I'm looking at a lot as well. I do feel like they're like a natural.
Fun. They're so fun to
Yeah, they're
play.
fun. They're just I like how beefy they are and how fast they are. It's a rare combination.
I think they have a couple matchups in which I believe they'll struggle pretty hard. Plague Marines is definitely one of them. Maybe Nemesis Claw, because shutting down of rerolls is very annoying for a team that really wants to reroll, because you really need every die, particularly in melee.
Hmm.
But outside of that, I mean, they feel real solid, feel real fun. They have just enough goofy tricks that I enjoy them. They can't quite threaten, like do a TP1 threaten. You could reposition 3 inches up the board and threaten 11 inches with Drink of Blood charge kind of thing, but your opponent really got to give you that one. Compared to the Star Storm, where it's like, if you come up into the mid board, I'm gonna find you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool too, and I like that the team has such a big toolbox where it feels like they do have some sort of answer to any type of problem, even if it's not like a crazy good answer. You have like things you can pivot into, which I like a lot. Like they have just enough shooting that you can, if you need to lean into shooting a little more, you can.
Yeah, you can.
And
I
they're
am a huge
fast,
Impaler fan. I know that's a contested opinion in the Goremonger space, but in a team that's filled with all fighting, having one extra decent gun is a boon. A gun that also does cool stuff, like pull people into other people's engagement range. I think it's cool, and everybody should take it.
Yeah, I'd
Really
like to see you
Ramesh
play
opinion.
Goremongers. I think that'd be interesting. So outside of, I mean, you just finished up with Edmonton, and obviously there's Worlds a ways away. But any other big events here you're planning on going to?
So we're hosting an 8 teams event at Maple Leaf Wargaming in July. Definitely gonna have fun doing that. Thankfully, George is allowing me to play because he's like he can TO the whole thing himself, so I get to actually play this time.
Nice.
NYO is definitely on the list just because it's not an expensive or big trip for me.
Yeah.
It's like 7-8 hours of driving, totally fine. I'm debating on LVO, but with its proximity to Worlds now, I don't think I can swing both because they're both pretty large trips,
Yeah, they are.
both in terms of getting there and the time off. Because LVO, you got to take at least the Thursday, Friday, Monday. Realistically, I don't do the fly out on the Friday after the event. It's your one opportunity to sit down and enjoy yourself after the
Yeah.
event. After
I'm in the
everything
same
is
boat.
done. And Worlds is in what? It's mid or end of November-ish.
First weekend, second weekend
Oh,
in
so
November.
there's like
Yeah.
a month or less in between LVO and Worlds. That makes that pretty tough. But NYO is on the docket. Nova, is it Nova that's in like. There's another major in between.
Nova is that last weekend of November. I will be going there. I love Nova.
That's the one in DC, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I might go to that one too.
Oh, you should. It's a great time.
Oh, you know what? I'll put it on the short list. LVO is the one that's kind of on the chopping block this year. The moving into the October slot,
It's
painful
tough.
for me. I loved it in the January slot. My vacation refresh. It's a new year. Nobody cared if I went on vacation in the middle of January because everybody's still waking up from the holidays.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same boat right now. I really, really want to do LVO, but October and then Worlds right after, that's like so much of my work PTO.
The one upside, it would be really good prep for Worlds
Yeah.
to go in to get a super major before Worlds. But the timing, I don't know. And I mean, I love Dakota. He always puts on a fantastic event. But this year might not I've been 3 years in a row now. Damn.
I have never gone. I want to go so bad.
It's very fun. It's very fun. I mean, if we don't go this year, we could plan around 2026 LVO. If we plan it ahead of time, like yeah, I could probably do both.
Yeah.
Worlds and that.
No, for sure. And as for that team event you mentioned, the teams event in July, I am going to that too. I'm locked into that one, so I'll see you there.
Oh yeah, you're in the Basement Bastards team this time, right?
Yeah, they've recruited me. I'm in town that weekend because I'm going to a Giants game. So I'm like, hey, why not?
That'll be fun. I've been wanting to test out the WTC team system for Kill Team, so we're doing it straight from the book, just to see what it's about. The differential scoring is real tight because every single point of differential matters, unlike in say 40K, where it's 5 points of differential matters. So if you lose by 4, it's a draw. For Kill Team, every single point of differential matters a fair bit for the team's performance.
Yeah, and
so swinging for those 21s is more important than usual.
Yeah, and also it changes, I think, the way like you value the like the viability of certain teams. Like, I think there are some teams that are much better in a teams format than in a singles format, just because of the way that you can influence pairings. And like, I think Mandrakes come to mind for me, where
pocket Mandrake on every team would be an excellent piece of tech.
Yeah, I mean, because not only are they struggle really hard in certain matchups and they're really good in other matchups, but they're really good at getting like a floor of VP just because of how good they are at scoring tac ops. So like, having that, they're very rarely going to have a bad differential, and you can put them into the matchups where they like. So it's like all of a sudden a team like Mandrakes gets way better. And being able to be good against every team is a less important like quality to have. Whereas in singles, it's like that's what you want. You don't want a bad matchup if you can avoid it.
Yeah. I think it'll also favor more of the aggressive teams as well, is being able to threaten to kill a larger range of operatives opens up a lot of tactical options. For example, Kroot into Plague Marines, that's rough. You have like one dude who can be like, I threaten a Plague Marine, the piercing 2 flamer guy.
Yeah.
Who can seriously look at a Plague Marine and be like, I can do 10 damage to you if you spend 1 CP. Yeah. Whereas everybody else is just such a crapshoot.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I experienced Kroot. I mean, if I could play Kroot, that's a situation where I would play Kroot is at a teams event like that, where I can.
They are great for scoring.
Though. Yeah, I can say to my team, "Hey, don't put me into elites, and I'll do everything you need me to do." But if I take Kroot to LVO, I'm gonna have to play against elites, and I'm gonna have to suffer.
You're gonna have to play Plague Marines at least 3 times.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so bad. Angels of Death too.
A neat thing about Edmonton, in the top 8, there are no repeats. All unique teams, which was really cool to see, because usually you see there's going to be at least 2 or 3 repeats across a couple teams.
Yeah.
All unique, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet, actually. That's, I mean, I know that you guys had, obviously, you with Corsairs, there was Hyrotech, Nemesis Claw.
Corsairs, Hyrotech, Blades of Cain, Phobos, Nemclaw, Plague Marines, Legionary, and Goremongers.
Very nice. Yeah, that's a good spread. The meta feels pretty healthy right now, and I don't think that, I don't think this box, the new box, is going to ruin that at all. In my opinion, I think both teams look, they don't look game breaking at least.
I'm curious about Ravener performance.
Oh, me too.
Because 5 operatives that have a bunch, particularly the ability to leave the board and like, okay, you can't interact with me, is fun. But I do feel like the tunnel mechanic prevents you from playing the game as much as you want, particularly in TP2.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you can overcome heavy score deficits in 3 and 4. And the other big downside is, with no way to reduce piercing, a Melta can comfortably threaten to just kill your ass.
Yeah.
At any point. Like if you get 4 hits and you make the save, you're gonna take 18 damage.
Yeah, I mean,
20 wound operatives is not fun.
They are very much like a patient stalking team that has to be okay with, like, taking it easy in the first half of the game and then getting very explosive moments in the second half. It's very thematic. I mean, not a team that I would expect people to be getting max scores with.
Definitely not a 21 score team. They have the speed to do it, but with only 5 operatives, and sadly you can't shoot twice. You can only fight twice. If they could fight twice and shoot twice, I think it would be a good. They'll probably get that watch on the first data slate after they get dropped. They might get shoot twice.
Yeah, like
'Cause only
yeah.
fight twice with minimal rerolls is rough because you get rerolls around your tunnel. Otherwise, you get balanced.
Yeah.
That's rough. Balanced on 5 dice. You roll 3 misses. You're like,
Yeah,
shit.
let him whip those pincer tails around. And then actually thinking about it, like even the venom spitter wouldn't be too crazy shooting twice, because if you extend the dorsal sac, they're only going to get one of their 2 shots with that.
Yeah, like
bonus.
it's not crazy.
Yeah, it would be pretty reasonable. I could see that if they do end up needing a buff.
Having
they
now
might
sort of done a dive into both teams,
Yeah.
Raveners definitely feel like the weaker option by a fair margin because it just doesn't feel like they can play the missions as effectively without exposing any piece, and it dies is super rough.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I mean, it's a big disparity, because I think as soon as you get TP3, it's like game on. You can actually do stuff, but before that, it's like woof, man, it's tough. And they do die very easy. A bolt gun can easily do like 12 damage to you.
Oh yeah, dude. Somebody got any kind of piercing too. Starts to feel a little rough. They should really be 4-up saves too, I think.
Maybe.
IMO.
Yeah.
5-up feels a little week.
I'm excited to
see what GW
try
does.
them out. Yeah.
Definitely way more excited to try Battleclade right now because I love everything they got going on.
Me too. Battleclade, I'm going to have more content in the future soon talking about Battleclade. But that team to me is like, it's kind of scratches like a Hyrotech itch that I have.
Yeah, because you have all the shenanigans where operatives are interacting with each other, like in Hyrotech, where you have your Prentech is doing an action off the leader, your Despotech can order people, your leader is throwing out actions all over the place. It has that kind of vibe to it, where you have a bunch more stuff to do that isn't just, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to fight you.
Yeah. And then the leader's kind of like a robo Indiana Jones, which is just cool.
I do like the fact that he's a 3 APL solo guy, so he's not like a linchpin for the team.
Yeah.
He is somebody where you can go send him to go get some work done and then die and be totally fine with it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think we're approaching the end here. Vivek, thank you for coming on. As it's great to have you, great to talk to you. Is there anything you want to shout out before we finish up?
I would definitely want to shout out 3 people. So Dave Seafried, we've already done this, but thank you for inspiring me to take this team. David Faig and George for those 3 practice games the weekend before. Those are very useful practice games. Really got me that sort of final level of sharpness I needed to feel really good coming into the event. And then everybody else in the community. You guys are awesome. You're most of the reason why I continue to do this is because you're awesome people, and it's very fun to do with you guys. And I love you all, and I wish you all the best.
Perfect. Everybody listening, of course, if you are enjoying the content and you're not subscribed, subscribe. At least give it a consideration. I think there's a lot of people listening that don't even know that they're not subscribed. They just like click on the videos because it comes up on their YouTube algorithm. But please subscribe. And then extra special shout out to everybody over at patreon.com/commandpoint. We are going to have some more stuff coming soon. I'm cooking things up for the Weird Boy tier. But yeah, and just thank you guys for supporting us and helping us keep going on these videos. Again, thank you everybody for listening and tuning in. This is Shane and Vivek signing out.